Go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I told you I was going to bring you some Propstream tutorials. So here I have Burton with Propstream, who's ready to go through everything. How you doing today, Burton?
I'm doing extremely well. Thank you so much, Justin, for having me. A pleasure to be part of this and just to help you and your students understand this platform in its totality. So without further ado, are you okay if I just share my screen with everybody?
Feel free. Let's go.
Let's do that. Okay, let me actually see, I'm a visual learner. So if you don't mind, I'm going to actually show everybody kind of an outline. I get this all the time. Hey, Burton, what does Propstream really do? You know, can you explain it? There's a lot that our system can do. So let's start here. This is our outline.
Oh.
And so for those that are just, understanding or heard about Propstream, or you've tried it, but you don't really know if you're using it to its full capacity, this is really what our system can do. I call it a stage 1, stage 2 system. Stage 1 is lead generation. So yes, we are a platform in which you can go into our system, search any market, build a list of sellers or buyers, right? Now, in our lead generation, we broke it down into 3 phases. Phase 1 is just build your list. Phase 2 is get contact information. And then phase 3 is directly market to your list within Propstream. Now, here's the thing. There are different types of investors out there, and some of our investors only just want the list. That's why we call it phase 1. You build your list and then you export it at the very end. Phase 2 is for someone that wants contact information. So you build your list and then take it over to phase 2 to get a cell phone, a landline, and email, and then you export it out of our system. So that way your VAs can call it, you can upload it to a dialer, maybe you call the list yourself. Or you don't have time, right? And that's what phase 3 is. You build your lists, go to phase 2 and get contact information. And now in phase 3, you can directly market to your list, whatever this list may be. It could be a delinquency list, cash buyers list, a failed listing list. It could be our new pre-probate list that we have. So you build that pre-probate list, you get contact information, and we directly market to it. And here's what we do. We give you a website. It's called a landing page, and it's a one-page website with an application so that you can talk to their situation, right? So you build this landing page. Hey, I can help people in a pre-probate situation, or I can help you with your situation, or I'm an agent, I'm looking to help you list your property, or I'm an investor in the market looking to help buy properties. After you create that landing page to talk to the situation that the list of the list that you built in phase 1. So just to repeat, I build an auction list, I skip trace it, that landing page to talk to them about their situation, right? I buy properties in an auction is what my landing page would say. Now, how do we get them to the landing page? Postcards, ringless voicemails, or emails are what you can send through Propstream. So this is stage 1. Now, whether you're doing this in Propstream or manually, guess what? I believe everybody's going to need stage 2, and that's analyzing a property. In Propstream, we can do that for you. You can search the address. Maybe it's an address from a list that you built and someone calling you back. Maybe you went driving for dollars and you used our mobile app and you saved the property. You pull up the property in our desktop and now we can show you all of the details. And by details, I mean the property details, the financial details, and the situation details. Like, is it in vacancy? Is it in pre-foreclosure? Does it have a lien? That's what I call finding opportunities. And after you find the pain point or the opportunity, you're going to then make your offer. And we got you covered. You can run comps in Propstream to get that after repair value. And finally, you can print out those comps reports because your owner is going to probably need a copy. The buyers are going to probably need a copy. You're probably going to want a copy as well. So this is what Propstream can do. Now, we do have some other features like team member accounts, list automator, our mobile app. So you definitely want to go to our website, propstream.com, and learn more about that stuff. For today, our main focus is really the bread and butter. How do we build a list in Propstream? Because we do give you 10,000 records every month. And make sure to click on Justin's link down below because you guys will get a 7-day trial and a discounted price. Now, today we're going to focus on building a list. We get 10,000 records. And then we're going to also focus on analyzing a property. So without further delay, let's go into Propstream. So here is Propstream. This is our search page. It's the first icon. The understanding or the conclusion is that you're here to either build a list or search an address anywhere in the United States. And we're going to give you the details on that. So yes, you can use your 10,000 records anywhere throughout the United States. So just to put me on the spot, Justin, what county or city are you in, sir?
Uh, I am actually in Miami-Dade County, in
My
Miami, Florida.
Miami, Florida. All right, so there we are, Miami, Florida. So we are in now Miami, and here's what we're doing. This is stage one. We're going to build a list. When we search Miami, what we're saying is, hey, there's 400,000 records Propstream has collected on your behalf. So we partnered up with the MLS boards in that market to get the 15,000 properties that we have listed. We partnered up with the county to get the 2,900 pre-foreclosure records. We went through them and separated the ones with an auction. We got the foreclosure records. We got cash transactions where homeowners bought properties but don't live in them. We have the liens like HOA liens, tax liens. We have vacant properties, properties that haven't been answering their mail in the last few weeks. High equity, properties with 50% or more in equity or $100,000 or more in equity. And we have more. You can actually go into our filter because the idea is to filter these records. And in our filter, not only do you have those first 8 options I just went through, but you have free and clear bankruptcy records, divorce records, tax delinquent properties. Flippers only found in Propstream. These are properties that were bought and using MLS data. They were bought and now they're back on market. So who buys a property and then puts it on market, especially 2 years or less? So that's what a flipper is. Someone who's bought a property and it's back on the MLS listing in less than 2 years. Failed listings, senior owners, vacant land, tired landlords, zombie properties, which are pre-foreclosures and vacant. It's just a term that's been around for a while, and our very new and unique pre-probate. These are homeowners who've passed away and their name is still on title. So the concept is that in lead generation or stage one, phase one, build a list, you go into Miami and sure, you have 400,000 records you can manually go through. But here's the thing, that's a lot of records. And some of these records you may not want, like the condominium or the store and apartments that's connected together, or that multifamily dwelling, right? So there are some things that you don't want. And so it's always a best practice after you search a market to just immediately go in the filter. And you can do one of two searches. The first search is what I call the traditional method, and that's starting with a list, right? Back in the day, every investor had to grab a list first. Maybe it was that lean list, and then slowly refine it or take it home pretty much and manually refine that list. So instead, we can just do that right now. Grab the leans, hit close, and just focus on the 16,000 result, right? Rather than the 400,000. But that to me is still not cost effective. That could definitely cost a lot of money, way too many postcards, way too many phone calls, way too many door knocking. And again, there are some things in here I don't need, like a condominium or an apartment or a rural residence and so forth, right? So we actually want to go back into the filter and refine those 16,000 records. So here on the left-hand side of the list that you just selected are additional filters. Do you want owner occupied properties? Do you want an absentee owned property or non-owner occupied? You don't care whether it's owned or absentee owned, then any. Now, because we have vacant data, do you want someone answering their mail or do you want it vacant, not answering their mail? Or do you don't care whether they're answering or not answering, they have a lien, they need to sell, right? Everybody has a different criteria. Next would be property characteristics. This is where you can say, okay, I do want residential. I do want those commercial buildings I was just looking at. I do want that office space, or I do want industrial buildings, or I want agricultural. So yeah, if you guys are not understanding, we collect more than residential property. Now, granted, most of our users are in the residential space, so they will choose residential. Now, when you choose a classification, your property type will be altered. Since I chose residential, I have residential filters I can select from. So maybe I wanted a mobile home with a lien, or a mobile home with or trailer park if there is one available, right? Manufactured home perhaps is what it's labeled. Multifamily dwellings. Okay, so we didn't have any mobile homes. So they might be labeled a different label in this market, but that's why we give you all of these different options. So once you choose the one that you want, condominiums with liens or multifamily dwellings with liens, or keep it simple, single family, you do have additional criteria. Now, granted, if you choose something else like commercial, your property type will change. Now you can choose commercial options. So maybe it's a wholesale outlet that you're looking to look for that has a lien. Here they go. So again, most of our users are in the residential space, but I do want to expose you guys to the fact that there are other records that you can utilize, okay? So now that you have residential, in this example, single family, bedrooms, bathroom, building size, lot size, year built, home features, number range, unit number ranges, the numbers of stories that could be important, school district, and whether it's in an HOA or not are all available filters for you. The next area would be stacking or suppressing our MLS data. By stacking, I mean looking for a lien that's on market, taking two records and stacking them together, right? Because these two data sets never communicated in the past. You had to go get the lien data first and then talk to an agent. We're doing that for you on the back end. So liens that are on market, maybe they've been on market for over 200 days now. So there are additional filters that you have here that you can use to drive maybe a little bit more motivation than normal. So whether it's days on market, listed below market price, a certain status, or maybe you're just looking for off market liens in general. These are the things that you're going to be able to utilize within Propstream. After you stack or suppress the MLS data, the next category will be your pre-foreclosure, foreclosure, bank-owned information. So what we're doing here again is stacking or suppressing more records. In your liens, do you want any defaults? Do you want any auctions? Do you want any foreclosures? Do you want to stay away from them? You have the ability to add or suppress those records. Recording dates, bid amounts, foreclosure release dates, all of these guys are available for your results, okay? Ownership info. So this will allow you to specify owner info, years of ownership, owner type, individual, corporate. So maybe you want someone who has a lien, they've owned the property for 8 years, and now a lien has shown up on their property. And you want to speak to an individual. It's easier than speaking to a corporate office, right? So these are the types of filters that you can utilize. You can even specify how many properties the owner has. So not only do they have a lien, which is a sketchy situation for a homeowner, but it might compromise the 3 to 6 properties they also have under their umbrella, right? So a lien, it's owned by a person who has multiple properties. Maybe they might need to sell more than one property to solve the situation. Tax status, location of the owner, whether an owner passed away and it's on title, you can include that. Do I have any liens that have multiple properties and someone passed away on that title, right? So these are the things. If you don't want to deal with someone who's passed away and their name is still on title, you can remove those records if you'd like. Family transfers and then unknown sell dates are also available. And then the last three categories in our filter are lien, bankruptcy, and divorces. So again, we can stack more, or since we're looking for a lien, we can specify, I want just tax liens, or I want the HOA liens, or not only do I want a lien, but I would like one with a bankruptcy, right? Because a bankruptcy means that you have no finances coming in. So this lien of $284,000, yeah, that's probably going to cause you to want to sell, right? So these are the things that you can utilize. We have recording dates, lien amounts you can specify. So you see this $22 lien, they probably can pay that off next day, right? So why don't we look for a lien that has maybe $1,000 or more on it? Find the ones that are a little bit more motivated than the rest. Divorce filing date, delinquency year, and finally, the last two are valuation equity, which is preferences. You know, what value of properties are you looking for? Maybe you want something under $500,000. Rental income, gross yield, growth over a certain period of time, estimated equity by a dollar or a percentage. Usually the most popular one is this one right here. Many of our users will say 30% in equity or more. Loan to value ratio, assess total value, assess improvement value, which is the tax building value, and the tax land value. And certainly last but not least is the mortgage information. And this will allow you to look for a person who, for example, has a lien, just what we're looking for, but it's accompanied with an existing mortgage as well. So not only do you have a lien that you have to pay for, but you have this mortgage you're also paying on already, right? Two payments, especially one that you didn't expect, the lien, that's probably now the reason to sell your property. So these are things that you can add to your search. Liens, I'm sorry, mortgage amounts or mortgage amount, like numbers of mortgages. And you can search up to 4 if you like. There might be someone with 3 mortgages out there and a lien, or 2 mortgages out there and a lien. So higher levels of motivation. Mortgage balances, loan to value ratio by percent or dollar amount. You can see if any of these properties were once bought in cash. You can see if any of them don't have a mortgage, and you can see if any of them don't have a private note. So this is what you can do anywhere in the United States. I just asked for Justin's location so we could just use that as an example. I'm in Southern California, so I don't think it would have been fair using my market. I'm so used to it. But as you can see, I mean, I can do this in any environment. We start with the lists and refine it using our additional filters on the left-hand side. Finally, we hit close. What started with 16,000 records here at the top is now down to the 47 off-market records, individually owned with multiple properties, the right amount of equity, the right property characteristics, the right value, and any other levels of motivation I added along the way. At this point, I can now check off my results and add it to a list. Remember, you get 10,000 records. This is just 47 of 10,000. So have fun with our system. But what you can do now is add it to an existing marketing list or create a new one. Miami liens with multiple properties, and hit save. And once you save it, that's pretty much the conclusion of building a list. You've searched, you've chosen a list and filtered it, and then now you've saved your list. So at this point, we can export our data, or instead of exporting it, get it skip traced to get phone numbers and emails in less than 5 minutes, or market to it right after. Set up a website for these liens with multiple properties, and then send postcards, voicemails, and emails to them. So when you do save, your results will be stored in the My Properties, and it'll be right here. So at this point, yes, I can check it off and export this list. It'll be put on an Excel sheet or an CSV file for those that want it, or we can skip trace it and get the contact information. So now we can get the phone numbers and emails just like you see here. And then we can market to it. We can start a campaign like this auction campaign that I have here. And whatever amount of people that are on your list, you can market to. So if your list has 75 people, like my auction campaign, then you're going to be marketing to 75 people in this campaign. So auctions has 75 homeowners I'm marketing to. I have a website that says we buy houses in cash in 30 days because they're in an auction. So this is essentially just a snippet of our campaign. And after you set up that website for your homeowners that you're marketing to, you can send postcards, voicemails, and emails within Propstream, right? And before I go into analyzing a lead, if in case one of these 47 properties calls you back, I want to enlighten you that our search engine is not just for motivated sellers. You can utilize it for buyers as well, right? So if we found buyers or sellers with multiple properties, or properties with single family properties, then perhaps we need to find buyers as well that are buying residential single family properties. Maybe it's a buyer who is an individual. Maybe they own multiple properties. I want to make sure these are good buyers, not just ones that bought one property only. Last sale date, want to see if they've bought in the beginning of the year. So they own multiple properties and they're very active in the market. So here you can see 2 property cash buyers that have bought multiple or have multiple properties, and they bought a property at the beginning of this year. So they're obviously going to continue doing that. Now, maybe you're not looking for a property owner with multiple properties. Maybe you just are comfortable with 5 properties or more. So here are the homeowners that bought this year and they have 5 or more properties. And the idea, again, is I'm just marketing to buyers that fit the criteria of my sellers, right? And so at this point, I can save these 10 cash buyers and add it to a list. Miami single family buyers, save, and then that now goes into a marketing list. Why did I do this? Because I have a list of liens with multiple properties. I want to look for buyers who have multiple properties. So when I go up to them and say, hey, I have this situation where this homeowner is willing to sell 2, 3 properties, would you consider that? Knowing that these buyers already have multiple properties, I have a high probability that they're going to say, yeah, let's work it out, right? So what our system can do is not just search for sellers, but we can also search for buyers. And the last thing I'm going to leave you guys off with in our filter, you don't have to choose a list. I have these 4 rules I always follow. Rule number 1, properties just need to be off market. That's always the thing we're looking for. Rule number 2, it needs to have equity. So we'll do 30% or more in equity. Rule number 3, it needs to have my property and ownership preferences. So I like to deal with residential single family properties that are 2 to 5 bedrooms, built in 1990 or before. And then my ownership info or preferences are, it must be a person who's at least owned the property for 7 years, right? So rule 1, off market. Rule 2, my equity amount. Rule 3, my property and ownership preferences. Rule 4 is the motivation. Now, typically we'd like to choose a list, right? You don't have to. The motivation today could be that this property that's built in 1990 is dealing with an HOA, and the homeowner is in a different state, and they have a mortgage on that property. And there you go. I have 45 leads. I didn't even choose a list. What I did was just use Propstream's data and smashed it together, right? I want single family properties that are off market with equity, owned by a person, lives in a different state, multiple property or multiple, or a mortgage, I'm sorry, has one mortgage, and they're dealing with an HOA. So lots of conversation there. Hey, how's the HOA treating you? Hey, I see you're in a different state. Are you able to take care of that mortgage? How's your renters? Are they paying you? These are things that we're talking about, right? Because I'm trying to extract that pain from them. So by simply positioning the data a certain way, I built 45 leads. And these aren't liens, these aren't vacant properties, these aren't these are just regular people. And all I'm doing is asking them about the building because it's in 1990 or before. So how's the condition of your property? How's the HOA? How's the environment? How is your renter? Do you need help with that mortgage? Just asking away. And once they tell me what that situation is that's causing a problem, we're going to then we're going to give them an offer, right? So that's what I want to share you guys with when it comes to filtering. Traditional, choose the list, refine it, go ahead and build buyers if you need it. And then you can just treat it like a data buffet. Go in there and just build what you want to build. You could even follow my 4 golden rules, right? Off market, equity, property and ownership preferences, and then create that motivation. Now, finally, after you've created your list, what happens when one of these individuals calls you back, right? What happens if this property off Southwest 63rd Parents gives you a call back? Hey, Burton, I got your postcard. You're interested in my property in a different state? Yeah. So the way that this is going to work is you're going to pull up that property by clicking on it, right? Or ask them for the address, because you might have to log in when they call you, right? You might be sitting watching TV, they give you a call. Okay, you run to your office, you'll log in. What are you going to do? Hi, thanks for giving me a call back. Who am I speaking with, and what's your address? So you're going to type in their address instead of the city, and instead of building a list, we're now going to show you all of the property's details around the local knowledge. So green is the subject property, and the details of that are right over here. But we're going to show you the local listings. Oh, I see a lot of people in your market are listing properties. Must be a buyer or seller's night. Oh, there's a lot of properties not answering their mail. Right? We have a lot of cash buyers there, so I'm sure we can find a buyer for you, right? So we're going to give you just all the local information, like the neighbors here on the right side. That's what these numbers are. Show you the local MLS, pre-foreclosures and foreclosures. Heck, we'll even give you the statistics to let you know whether it's a better rent opportunity or a better sell opportunity. The days on market. 4-bedroom properties like this one last 130 days before they sell on market. So very powerful things. But really what you want to do is go into the details. Anytime you're talking to a homeowner, you should be on this page. So hi, thanks for giving your address. Is this Orlando Martinez? Hey, Orlando, what's going on? So you're the owner off 63rd Terrace, Miami, right? That's correct. Oh, great. Well, sorry for probing, but I see you're in Ohio. How's the weather over there? Right? Oh, it's really cold right now. It's, on the back end of winter, it's starting to get warm. Well, great. Well, now we can talk about his property characteristics, building size, land information on his property here in Miami. We can talk about the year built. We can talk about the HOA. How are the HOA treating you? Horrible? Well, maybe you should get rid of this property, right? 16 years of ownership. Maybe he's tired of being a landlord now, right? We can talk about the fact that he tried to sell it, or he rents it. So given he rents it, It's pulled off market, and that's why it's occupied. So you just found a renter in February, right? It's a lot of information, but maybe he's tired of renting. So yeah, he's renting it out to someone maybe month to month, or at the end of the year, he might say, you know what, we're done, right? So I might need to follow up with them for the next 8 months, but that's okay because this could be a big lead, right? Tax information, all the other properties that he owns, mortgage information. So I can talk about the mortgage that he has with Chase. How's Chase treating you? Their rates are really high. Really? I see you're paying about 22 through 2300 after your taxes and stuff. Yeah, it's really, really high. How much are you charging your tenant? Oh, we're charging them about 28, 2900. So you're barely pocketing 6, 700. What happens when the plumbing goes south? We don't know, right? We hope that doesn't happen. Well, let's get you out of this ticking time bomb, right? So I'm able to look at this data and talk with confidence, even though I'm not even in his state. He's not even in the same state. But I know all this information. So if I was doing a virtual deal, I could be able to talk to him about his property with no confidence, with all the confidence in the world. Now, once I find the indication that he wants to sell, maybe it's the several years of ownership, maybe it's the old building, maybe it's the tenant that they have that's a jerk to them, right? Maybe it's the tax information that keeps climbing. Maybe owning multiple properties, they just had it, especially being in a different state, right? So the idea now is we can now run comps on that property using public records. So this first box is comps, MLS records, what's sold through the agent's database, or put them both side by side. You have filters, date range, bedrooms, bathrooms, year built, square footages, sold status, active status, pending status, public records, cash transactions, mortgages, so properties that have a mortgage on there, finance records, those are the ones that you really want to use. Do you want to see anybody buying multiple properties? Do you want to increase your search by a half a mile to maybe a mile, get more records, or maybe a mile is too big because that would go into a whole different market. So we got to do a quarter of a mile, 0.25, right? So feel free to adjust your filters for comping. And last but certainly not least, apples to apples. If you're comping residential properties, choose residential for your class. And if you're comping single family, choose single family. Now, remember, make sure to add your bedrooms and bathrooms, because if you don't, when you get your results over here, you see that your property, which is this blue one, has 4 bedrooms. You might have some 3 bedrooms in there because you didn't specify. So you might have to actually manually deselect them, or instead of doing that, just go ahead and hit 4 bedrooms and all the 3s and all the 2s go away. And now you just have the 4 bedroom properties. Now, there might be some 5 bedrooms. What happens if there's 5 bedrooms? How do I get rid of them? You can deselect them or just put 4 in the max. Okay. So this is comping. Then once you get your results, ask yourself why. Why did this property sell for 473? Look at the property characteristics. Line them up. Do they look identical to the subject property? Right? 4.3, 2600. Yeah. This one has a little bit more. So ours could probably sell for just shy. But let's take a look at what a 473 property looks like. Remember, we need to know if that's an after repaired value. And my images say, yeah, looks like there's been some rehab. Looks like they cleaned it up. So we're just going through these photos. There's a backyard. So that little pool, probably they kept it there, but we get to see all of that stuff, right? Kitchen included. There you go. So you're able to look at the information. What does a property that sells for 460 or 505 look like? Click on the pictures. Ooh, okay, so this one is definitely rehab. So you see the type of material that it requires to sell a property for $500,000. So now I can see that, okay, the ARV of these properties are in like that 400, just shy of a $500,000 range. Most of them are in the 400, low 400s, right? 460, 430. So that's the idea. Go through your results, and eventually, once you find the right ones, maybe it's this one, maybe it's that one. I'm just poorly choosing a few. Maybe it's that one. Finally, maybe it's this one. You're just going to hit actions and view comps report. And what that does is it wraps up your stage 2. We searched that address that gave us a call back. We were going through the details to find the opportunities. We just ran comps using public and MLS data, or put them together to do the comps to calculate the after repair value. And now I'm just printing the report. And that report, once it's generated, will take these values that you've selected and average it out for you like it did for me right here. So 4 are now selected, new average. But other than give you a new average, it actually gives you a report it does this. It shows you the subject property you're working with and the owner's information. So Orlando's name is on here, his address. Hey, Orlando, can you check this really quick just to make sure this is your property's characteristics? Yep, that's correct. Great. Well, I used this search criteria when I was running comps in your neighborhood. I used public and MLS records. And here's what I found, Orlando. Properties were selling for as low as 420, as high as 505. And obviously, this 505 was an anomaly. You can see it had a lot more bathrooms and so forth, right? Your property is a 4.3, so it lines up more in this area right over here. So we're going to probably get you 453 because he might say, well, I saw a property that's 4-bedroom that sold for $500,000. Yeah, you did see it, but it had 4 bathrooms in it, right? So I'm able to
Right.
use the data to drag it down. And then finally, here are where the comps are. And last but not least, we're going to show the owner the photos of each of every one of these comps. Just so if they try to say, well, I want that full price, well, let me show you what that property looked like compared to your property, right? So this to me is the final part of Propstream. We have a 2-part system. You build your lists, you can get it out of here and then come back when they do call you back. Or you can build your list, get contact information, market to them, and then when they call you, analyze it. And this is just scratching the surface because we got team member accounts. We have our list automator enhancement feature, which you can build a list and then automate it. We'll always add the new records that meet your criteria and delete any properties in your list that don't meet your criteria. You can also import outside data and get Propstream's data. So List Automator is just packed with a bunch of cool stuff and the mobile application that comes with your subscription. So guys, I want to thank you so much for your time. Sorry if I just went ape on this, but that's really what our system can do. I can literally go on for another hour, but I hope that you guys got to see exactly what our system can do in its totality. And make sure you use our resources tab or the help section to learn more or join me in our weekly webinars. But Justin, thank you for giving me this opportunity to enlighten you and enlighten the audience on what Propstream can really do. Because I get people that just use it to just comp properties or build a list and they don't really know all of the things that we can do. So thank you for the time, brother.
Oh, no problem at all. I mean, Propstream, I always say Propstream is the backbone of my business and really the real estate business right now. So I really appreciate you taking the time out just to go through this. We use this all day, every day in our business right now. So really appreciate it.
Yeah, most definitely. And guys, remember, Justin has worked out a deal with us. He has a link. Make sure you guys click on his link. It's a 7-day trial period. So you get to try this out for 7 days. And we'll give you just 50 properties to work with in this trial period. But again, once you subscribe to Justin's link, you'll get it at a discount price. And it's only a month-to-month subscription, but we'll give you 10,000 records. Check out the math on that, especially when compared to others. So thank you guys so much. Justin, thank you so much again.
I appreciate you. Thank you.